The story starts with a young boy witnessing a powerful lightning storm striking the city. In the middle of the chaos, a gigantic monster suddenly appears and begins destroying several buildings, leaving the boy completely terrified. Moments later, it becomes clear that everything we saw was only a nightmare, as the boy suddenly wakes up. We then learn that his name is Noi, the protagonist of our story. Realizing he overslept, Noi quickly rushes to get ready because he still has to go to high school. After preparing in a hurry, he heads out and catches the bus. During this moment, he explains that he lives with his father, but since his father was assigned to work overseas, he is currently living alone. Because of that, part of him actually enjoys the quiet at home since there is no one around to bother him. When he arrives at school, we are introduced to a boy named Aki. Aki shows him a video game that has not yet been released to the public, mentioning that his uncle helped develop it. Curious about it, Noi immediately takes out his console so he can try the beta version for a short while. Aki also mentions that the game will eventually have an online mode, but that feature will only be available once the game is officially completed. Not long after, a girl named Cass appears and snatches the console away from him, telling both of them to hurry up or they will end up being late for class. While they are walking, Noi accidentally bumps into a girl along the way. The people around them quickly grow concerned, and some students who were with the girl warn him to be more careful next time. Noi immediately apologizes for the accident. At that exact moment, a loud alarm suddenly echoes throughout the area, announcing a Tian Shan alert. The warning system also provides coordinates and reports that strong magnetic field vibrations have been detected. Panic quickly spreads across the city, and it is explained that this Tianxia alert is triggered whenever monsters known as disasters are about to appear in a specific location. Soon after, a monster appears in the middle of the city. Noi and his friends think that this time the monster appeared very close to them. The creature looks toward the students and launches a powerful missile. The students feel terrified, but after it hits, we see that the school has some kind of magical shield. Since they are safe, the main character starts mocking the monster. Shortly after, the monster suddenly receives a powerful hit. He says that it seems a rescuer has arrived to deal with it. Once the smoke clears, the rescue group begins attacking with everything they have, and one of them launches a missile that makes the monster fall. Noi becomes very excited and thinks that someday he wants to join the group known as the Blades, the rescuers who fight against the Tian Shan. Later, the students return to their classes, and on the way, Aki asks him if he wants to become a rescuer to take revenge for his mother. However, Noi simply says that he wants to help protect people. After entering the classroom, a girl named Rio scolds him because the rules say that when the Tian Shan alarm sounds, students must return to class. We also see that the girl he bumped into earlier is there as well. The students think she is very beautiful, and the teacher introduces her as Motis, a new student at the high school. The girl soon sits next to Noi, and he cannot believe that someone as beautiful as a goddess is sitting beside him. While he blushes as he looks at her, Cass does not seem very happy about it. The teacher notices that he is very distracted, scolds him, and tells him that besides arriving late, he is not paying attention. Because of that, she punishes him and says that he must bring a 3,000-word essay tomorrow. After classes end, we see Noi leaving with Cass, and she gets distracted taking photos of some kittens that were there. Noi then goes to talk with Modis and suddenly asks her to go out with him. Cass hears everything and runs away after hearing his love confession. Modis says goodbye to him, and Noi brings a phone back to Cass that she had dropped. The girl blushes and thanks him, telling Noi that she only wants to be with him because since they were children they have spent a lot of time together. Suddenly, one day a monster appears out of nowhere, leaving Noi and Cass completely shocked. Noi immediately grabs the girl and starts running, while the monster begins chasing them. They enter a building, and Noi starts wondering how a Tian Sha managed to enter when the school supposedly has a barrier. He takes an axe that was hanging on the wall and tells Cass to run and warn the others, because the consequences could be serious if no one is alerted. Noi then charges at the monster, but the creature easily dodges his attack. The girl takes the chance to run as fast as she can, but just as the monster is about to strike her, Noi steps in and protects her. Once Cass manages to escape, Noi continues fighting the monster. He fails to land a hit with the axe, and the monster ends up striking him instead. The creature then moves in to finish him off, but at that instant, someone hits it with a lightning strike. In front of Noi appears a girl who is part of the Blades. After drawing her katana, she slices the monster in half with a single strike. The girl then gives Noi a regenerator to heal his wounds. However, the monster is still alive and suddenly strikes again, knocking off the helmet she was wearing. That is when Noi realizes that the blade is actually Motus. She lowers her guard for a moment, and the monster manages to land several hits on her, causing a wound in her stomach. Noi grabs the monster's sword and stabs it from behind, finally killing it. Afterward, he hands the regenerator back to Motus. Once she uses it, Noi becomes very excited after learning that she is a blade. However, Motus threatens him and says that no one can find out about what just happened, or she will deal with him herself. Noi takes the chance to ask if her confession earlier was serious, telling her that no girl has ever confessed to him before. This makes her feel embarrassed, but it also makes her a little angry at him. Just then, one of the boys who had been with her earlier that morning arrives. His name is Kraken, and he is part of the police. The boy becomes angry at Noi because after seeing Motus injured, he thinks everything is Noi's fault. When Noi tries to explain that Motus lowered her guard, she quickly knocks him out before he can say anything. Soon after, Cass arrives and becomes worried about Noi. Because Motus had already hidden herself, Cass believes that the police officer was the one who defeated the Tian Sha. Kraken tells her that it was a weak one, which is why he managed to defeat it. He then carries Noi on his back and asks Cass to guide him to Noi's house. Later, Noi has a memory of his mother, and when he wakes up he realizes that he is already in his room. Cass is there as well, taking care of him. After going out to get a drink, Noi does not understand how he ended up fainting after encountering the police. Cass explains that after treating his wounds, Kraken brought him home in his patrol car. She also tells him that she was the one who called the police and that the officer was the one who defeated the Tian Sha. At least, that is what she believes. Noi remembers that Motus warned him not to tell anyone about her, so he has no choice but to go along with Cass's version of the story. He then changes the subject and begins talking about Motus, asking if she really confessed her feelings to him. He says that they barely know each other, so it would not make sense for her to truly confess her love. Because of this, he cannot understand what is really going on in her mind. These words leave Cass a little confused, but in the end, she agrees with him. Sometime later, Noi and Cass leave the house because he decides to walk her home. Cass says it is not necessary for him to accompany her, but Noi mentions that there have recently been cases of girls disappearing. In another scene, a girl is seen running quickly through an alley. She suddenly slips, and something attacks her. The next morning, many police officers and people are gathered at a crime scene. Noi happens to pass by the area and notices that Kraken is there. The two start talking, and Kraken warns Noi that if he ever does anything to Motus, he will deal with him. Noi, very nervous, tells him not to worry because they are only classmates. Noi then changes the subject and asks what happened at the scene. Kraken tells him that it was a case where a girl was dismembered. What seems strange to him is that the cuts were extremely clean, as if they had been made with a very sharp tool. Noi immediately remembers the Tian Sha and wonders if one of them might be responsible. After a while, Noi arrives at school, where a girl named Shino stops him. She asks him to write an apology letter for what he did with the teacher the day before. Noi responds that he could not do anything about it because right after classes ended, a Tian Sha monster of the celled class appeared. He starts explaining that he fought the monster, but the girl becomes very angry and thinks he is just bragging. Because of that, she grabs him and drags him away so he can speak directly with the teacher. However, Shino is suddenly interrupted when Motus appears and hands her the apology letters she wanted from Noi. Shino does not understand why Motus has his apology letter, but she accepts it anyway and goes to deliver it to the teacher. Motus then tells Noi that this is her way of helping him for keeping her secret. She also suggests that they become friends and make a pact to protect each other. Hearing this, Noi wonders if his act of heroism made her a little crazy. Just when he thinks she is about to confess her feelings again, she simply says that from now on they will be best friends, because only best friends share secrets. She then grabs his hand and tells him they should go somewhere else. All of this happens while Aki watches them from a distance. He soon returns to class and tells Cass that Motus took Noi away. Meanwhile, Noi and Motus skip class and head somewhere else. Motus explains that she spent her entire life sick at home with private tutors, so she has no idea what it is like to attend normal classes. For a long time, they visit different places together, almost like they are on a date. At one point, Motus enters a women's clothing shop, and Noi becomes very embarrassed when he notices she is looking at underwear. She even asks him if she would look good wearing one of them, but he nervously replies that he knows nothing about that. Some girls nearby start wondering if the two of them are a couple. Their moment is suddenly interrupted when the Tian Sha alarm begins to sound. Modus activates her blade suit, and Noi tells her to stay and protect the girls in the shop while he goes out to investigate. Modus thinks it is strange that for a normal human, Noi shows so much interest in the monsters. Noi then runs quickly through several alleys until he suddenly encounters a Tian Sha face to face. He immediately tries to escape, but just when the monster is about to kill him, a girl appears and slices the creature into pieces. We soon learn that her name is Mansuto, and Noi wonders if she is also a blade. However, right then a soldier shoots at her. Seeing that she is standing with Noi, the soldier thinks he is just an interfering bystander. Noi quickly takes the girl away to another place, and she heals herself using a regenerator. Soon after, the soldier arrives and orders Noi to stay away from her. The girl then pulls out a scythe, and the soldier reveals that she is actually a demon. The two girls immediately begin fighting, leaving Noi completely confused, because a blade and a rescuer should not be fighting each other. The soldier, whose name is Aku, explains that this crazy girl killed her two best friends for no reason. Aku confronts her directly, while Mansuto says that she will kill her and play with her because she seems completely insane. When Noi sees the scythe, he begins wondering if it might be connected to the mysterious murders of women. Mansuto attacks again, knowing that snipers like Aku are weak in close combat. She launches an attack from the air, but Aku removes something from her left eye and releases a divine lightning strike. The attack causes a huge explosion and leaves a crater, but Noi soon notices that Aku is injured. Mansuto starts mocking her, saying she can barely stand. Aku responds that the one who will die today is actually her enemy, and she fires a shot from her sniper rifle. She prepares another weapon to finish her off, but just as she shoots, Noi throws a stone that deflects the bullet. Noi then says that blades and rescuers should not be fighting each other. However, Aku replies that an NPC like him should not interfere with her revenge. After Mansuto says a few words that confuse Aku, she manages to escape and takes Noi as a hostage. Noi cannot understand why they keep referring to him as an NPC. Both girls even mention that they should not be breaking the rules by revealing this information. At that moment, Modus arrives and helps Noi escape, because she does not want anyone to hurt her friend. Aku confronts her and says that she must personally take revenge on Mansuto. Suddenly, Mansuto activates a special ability that creates vines, trapping everyone in place. She warns that if they try to move, the vines will cut them apart. Mansuto then tells Noi that she will reveal the truth about why they call him an NPC. She approaches him and explains that the world he is living in is completely fake because everything is actually part of a virtual reality game. Noi refuses to believe her and thinks she is crazy. To prove it, she shows him a video of a building and asks him how long he remembers it being there. Noi realizes that the building has been under construction since he was a child. She also points out that even when parts of the city are destroyed, they are always rebuilt again. This realization leaves Noi completely shocked because he had never paid attention to those details before. The girl explains that his memories and past are actually programmed data created by a supercomputer called GA. She also explains that people who enter the game choose between two factions, the Rescuers, also known as the Saviors, and the Blades. Because of this, she tells him that everything he has been doing is completely fake. Mansuto says that she hates that world and plans to destroy it completely, along with everyone in it. She says that it does not matter if they are players or NPCs, because she will kill them all the same. Noi, on the other hand, begins to cry while wondering if all the memories he has had in his life were completely fake. Their conversation is suddenly interrupted when Cass arrives at the place. She is carrying a weapon, and the others warn her not to come any closer or she will die. However, while trying to protect her friend, Cass is easily beaten by Mansuto. Noi begs her to stop, but Mansuto slashes his face and strikes Cass hard, saying she is tired of everything and that there is no point delaying the destruction any longer. She continues beating the girl, which makes Noi even angrier. A powerful aura begins to surround him, and after breaking free from the vines, he manages to punch Mansuto. Noi becomes worried about his friend, and the woman is shocked, thinking it is impossible for an NPC to do something like that. Noi then grabs the girl's scythe. Mansuto becomes frightened and starts thinking that something strange is happening. He throws the scythe, and she dodges the attack, but unexpectedly the weapon returns like a boomerang and strikes Mansuto. This makes the girl start thinking that maybe she is the NPC and not Noi. Soon after, the monster completely disappears, and Noi absorbs its energy. A yellow aura surrounds him, leaving Modus completely surprised. The aura then transforms into a blade suit around Noi. He also gains the ability to use a special vision that allows him to see the statistics of other people. Modis tries to apologize to Noi for not telling him the truth earlier because revealing that information goes against the rules of the virtual reality game. Meanwhile, Aku realizes that she is still alive and uses a regenerator to heal herself. After that, she says goodbye to them because she needs to log out of the game. From a distance, several masked individuals are seen watching everything, thinking that the whole situation was an entertaining show. Sometime later, Noi arrives home carrying Cass. While Modus follows behind them, Noi asks her to stop following him, saying that he knows she only pretended to be his friend. However, Modus looks sad and tells him that he really was her first friend, the one who went shopping with her, so none of their friendship was fake. No does not respond and simply continues walking. Later, while they are inside Cass's house, Noi asks how he can remove his blade suit because he cannot find any way to deactivate it. Modis then shows him a bracelet that displays the game interface and controller. She tells him that he only needs to press a certain button. Without understanding the consequences, Noi presses it, which makes all of his equipment disappear and leaves him completely naked in front of her. This causes Modus to call him a shameless exhibitionist before hitting him. Afterward, she treats the injury on his nose while Noi apologizes for getting angry earlier. Modis admits that for a moment she thought about eliminating him, but she now considers him a real friend. She then reveals that in real life, she had an accident 10 years ago and has not been able to live like a normal person since then. She adds that her butler was the one who suggested that she spend time playing video games. Modus says that she enjoys playing because she can gain experience and save other players and NPCs. She also explains that if someone tries to attack others, they can receive a very severe punishment. She then admits that the day she confessed her love was actually because she received that mission in the game, which completely disappoints Noi. Modis also explains that something else happened that should not have occurred. The monster that Noi defeated was actually part of her beginner mission, so she failed to complete it, and Noi ended up changing the course of her progress in the game. Later, Noi asks her for a favor. He asks her to help change Cass's clothes, because even though they have been friends since childhood, he cannot look at her while she is unconscious and undressed. Modus agrees to help him. After changing Cass's clothes, Modus looks around the room and notices a photo of Noi with a woman. When she sees it, she suddenly has a brief memory and quickly reacts, thinking that something about it seems familiar. At that moment, the girl hears a noise outside, and we see that Noi is being attacked by 3 mysterious men. They call him a game anomaly and believe that something strange happened with the game's data. Because of that, they want to eliminate him. However, one of them notices that he has a player bracelet, so he thinks that this should be impossible. Just then, Modus appears and asks what they are doing to him. The men introduce themselves as members of a group called Dark Wolf, who are part of the game's administrators. They apologize to Modus for interrupting her gaming experience. They also explain that their duty is to eliminate anomalies and errors within the game. However, Modus tells them to leave her friend alone and says they should not be attacking players. In the end, the men apologize and assume that the data tracker they use must have malfunctioned. Soon after, Modus receives a call from her butler named Vincent. He tells her that her father has arrived in real life and that she must log out of the game. We then see that in the real world, she is sitting in a wheelchair while wearing her virtual reality headset. Vincent tells her that her father must not find out about the game, so he forcibly disconnects her. Meanwhile, the administrator stays behind examining Noi. Suddenly a smoke bomb appears, and one of the masked figures kills one of the administrators. They also take Noi with them. The administrators refer to the masked group as the Ravens of the game. After some time passes, Noi wakes up and sees what looks like a small Buddha-like child in front of him. One of the masked members is also there. The girl explains that the child he sees is named Zen and that he is their leader. Shortly after, the girl disappears, and Zen tells Noi that he created that place so he can remain safe from the game administrators. Zen also tells him that Noi is just like them and that from now on they will protect him. In another scene, the other masked member continues fighting against the administrators. After defeating one of them, he finally faces the last one. However, the final administrator is extremely strong and defeats the masked fighter with a single blow. Soon after, Cass wakes up and arrives at the place where the fight happened. When the administrator sees her, he thinks that she has seen too much and decides that she must be eliminated. He considers sparing her life for a moment, but instead he takes out a strange egg containing a larva and forces her to swallow it. She immediately collapses to the ground. Meanwhile, Zen explains to Noi that he was also once an NPC like him. He says that he used to guide players when they were choosing their classes. He also explains that even though they are NPCs, the feelings and emotions they experience are real. Because of that, he considers himself a human trapped inside a video game. Finally, Zen tells Noi that he is the first person in that world to surpass the limits of the system. After defeating Monsudo, he gained the abilities of a real player. In other words, Noi no longer has as many restrictions as before, and might be the only one capable of changing the course of the game. Zen tells him that he hopes Noi will join him, and even gives him a special ability as a gift. Noi says that he will think about it and that he will give him an answer later. In another scene, we see Motis in real life going to have dinner with her grandfather. The man tells her that the development of their video game is almost complete. Motis then says that earlier that day she remembered something and asks if she used to ride carousels often when she was a child. She also asks if she used to go there with a woman and another boy to take photos. Unexpectedly, the man becomes furious and tells her never to speak about that again. Meanwhile, Noi is suddenly teleported back home and realizes that he must be careful with the dark wolves. He then goes to Cass, who looks very frightened. She tells him that she heard explosions and saw several men nearby. As expected, they both go to the living room and notice that everything looks perfectly normal. Cass becomes angry when Noi jokingly suggests that it might have just been a nightmare. She starts crying and hugs him tightly. Noi then thinks that he must protect the most important person in his life, because he knows that the dark wolves might attack them. In a parallel scene, we see that the administrator who forced Cass to swallow the insect can now watch Noi through her. The creature she swallowed was actually a type of virus or tracking device, which allows him to monitor them at all times. Back with Motis, the girl asks her butler about someone named Greta. However, he does not have a complete answer. He only knows that Greta was the chief engineer of the supercomputer development team of the Tien group. He adds that one day the man suddenly disappeared and no one ever saw him again. Motis explains that when the accident happened 10 years ago, she cannot remember anything after that moment because she was only 6 years old at the time. She even says that she does not remember the faces of her own parents and only knows that her grandfather fired them from his company. The girl then changes the subject and asks Vincent why she remembered certain moments when she saw the photo of Noi and his mother. She says it makes no sense because she has never experienced those memories, or at least that is what she believes. Vincent cannot give her many answers. However, Motis says that she has decided to investigate what happened 10 years ago. She believes that the game and the real world might be connected somehow, and she begins to think that Noi might be the key to discovering the truth. The next day, while Noi is heading to school, he remembers the words Monsuto told him. He starts thinking that everything around him might simply be game data, so he looks around nervously and becomes worried. After a while, Aki arrives and tells Noi that he has progressed a lot in his video game. He even teases him and asks if he did something romantic with Motis. Noi denies it. Motis also tells him that their teacher might be angry because he skipped class, but Noi says he does not care about the consequences. Soon, Motis arrives to talk with him, and Aki ends up going to school alone because Noi stays behind with her. Motis asks him if he knows someone named Glid, but the name does not sound familiar to him. Right then, the Tien Sha alarm begins to sound. Everyone at school quickly goes inside to take shelter. Unlike the others, Noi and Motis head toward the place where the monster appeared. Noi becomes worried when he sees the huge difference in power between them and the Tien Sha. Meanwhile, Cass is very worried because she cannot find Noi anywhere in the hallways. Just as the monster attacks the students, Kraken appears and protects them. Noi is surprised because besides being a police officer, Kraken is also a player in the game. Kraken draws his weapon and begins striking the monster repeatedly. The creature then charges several fireballs that trap Kraken and even set his suit on fire. At that moment, Vincent arrives and saves him by casting an ice spell. Soon after, Cass arrives with Noi, and they see that the monster has stepped on and broken the school's barrier. Apparently, the administrator is sabotaging the game to observe the true power that Noi possesses. The monster then begins moving toward the school. Motis asks Vincent to allow her to fight, because she now has a reason to do so and knows she must fight until the end. Kraken manages to land another hit on the monster and tells his companions to move faster or they will be in trouble. His distraction works because the monster changes its target. Meanwhile, Cass tells Noi that they should leave the area, but he refuses. He says that the students and the teacher are there and he must protect them. If he could not protect his mother, then he will protect the people he cares about now. He then activates his blade transformation and rushes forward to fight alongside the others. Kraken strikes the monster again, but the creature counterattacks and deals heavy damage to him. Noi quickly arrives and manages to soften the blow, telling them that he came to help. Suddenly, the monster begins charging its ultimate ability. The windows of the school start shattering, and the others warn Noi that they should retreat. They explain that once the boss begins charging that skill, it cannot be interrupted, and they must wait for reinforcement. However, Noi believes that both NPCs and players have equal value in their lives. He says that he does not care if he dies, because he cannot stand watching the people he cares about being crushed by a monster. He then rushes forward to fight. Motis agrees with him and follows right behind. Noi reaches the monster and tries to use his blade weapon, which is the same scythe Monsuto once used. However, for some reason he cannot equip it. Soon the monster is about to strike him, and Motis tries to block the attack, but it does not work and she is slammed into the ground. Noi then takes the hit himself. Motis quickly runs toward him, and just when the monster is about to crush them both, Kraken manages to save them. Suddenly, the monster is shot in the face, and the one who fired the shot is Aku, who has arrived as reinforcement to help them, along with the captain of the rescuers. Motis tries to talk to Noi because she does not want him to die, but he is already unconscious. He begins dreaming about his childhood, where he is riding a carousel. Meanwhile, the captain tells Aku that she should not interfere in the matters of the blades. He says it seems they did not even read the manual, because to defeat the monster they must first cut its legs and then unleash all their attacks. The captain then asks why Noi interfered, and Noi replies that he was helping with the mission. However, the captain immediately orders him to retreat. Soon after, Vincent launches a powerful ice attack that strikes the monster. At that moment, the administrator realizes that he can feel an enormous power in the area because the insect he planted inside Cass is starting to malfunction. The group prepares to split up in order to save the people nearby. Suddenly, Cass becomes furious because she does not want Noi to die. A powerful aura begins to surround her, and she even destroys the insect that had been inside her body. She believes that Motis is responsible for everything and wants to kill her. Meanwhile, inside Noi's dream, Moti suddenly wakes up. Cass immediately calms down and then collapses after using such overwhelming power. This makes the administrator wonder if that power really came from her, and he decides that he should personally go and investigate the situation. Back with Noi, we see that his eyes have turned red. He realizes that the monster is known as the Flaming Witch. A much stronger aura begins to surround him, and he finally summons his scythe from the system. At the same time, Zen decides that the moment has come and creates a sphere of energy, sending it to Noi. Everyone present is completely shocked by the immense power No now possesses. Just then, the administrator heading toward the area is informed about an anomaly. He immediately realizes that the Raven, referring to Zen, has finally appeared after many years, so he quickly changes direction toward that location. Zen then mentions that he has unlocked all of Noi's abilities, and hopes that he will not disappoint him and will help save the world as he always wished. Noi begins attacking the monster with a series of powerful combinations. The members of the Mad Blade group start casting protection spells to defend the school. Motis is shocked when she notices that Noi is using the same abilities that Monsuto used before. Finally, Noi uses a special skill on the monster, absorbs all of its energy, and the creature disappears in the blink of an eye. Motis watches what just happened and wonders how he reached such a high level when just one day ago he was still a complete beginner. However, even though the monster is defeated, Noi loses control of himself and starts heading toward Motis with the intention of killing her. Suddenly, the masked girl appears and uses a whip shaped like a snake. Her attack forces Noi to return to his senses after he slightly hits her mask. She is sent flying, and we discover that Shinoa is actually part of the Ravens. Noi falls to the ground and regains his senses. He is surprised to learn that she is a member of the Ravens. Shinoa tells him that she came because Zen knew that Noi would lose control. She then jokingly teases him now that her identity has been revealed. Noi feels relieved after realizing that all his classmates at school are still alive. Soon after, Shinoa leaves the area. Meanwhile, the administrator arrives at the location where one of the Ravens is hiding. He says that this time he will not allow him to escape, because the last time he attacked him, he somehow managed to survive. The two begin fighting, but the Raven is eventually defeated. The administrator then finds Zen and is surprised to learn that he has been hiding inside an independent space outside the main game system. He says that it took him years to locate him because he was hiding like a sewer rat. The administrator, whom we will call Virus, tells Zen that it is time to reveal his true form. He launches a strange Z-wave, which forces Zen to transform into an adult man. Virus mocks him, saying that Noi used up all his energy and that he can no longer maintain the form of a child. He then demands that Zen reveal the locations of other bugs within the game. In another scene, Kraken informs Noi that there will soon be a press conference because the game that took about 10 years to develop has finally been completed. Noi realizes that the project belongs to Modus's family company. Modus explains that her grandfather is the owner and the one who funded the entire project. She also explains that GA uses a neural connection system to link people to the virtual reality world, which is why everything inside it feels so real. After some time, they arrive to meet Vincent. Kraken becomes angry because Vincent always stays in his office doing nothing, while he is the one constantly following Modus around to protect her. At that moment, they are interrupted when an NPC girl enters the room. After serving them tea, Kraken jokingly asks Vincent if he is planning to start a romance with his secretary. Vincent immediately becomes serious and tells him that they should focus on what they were discussing. Vincent then tells Noi that he brought him there to explain several things that might interest him. In another scene, Zen explains to Virus that the Tian Sha were programmed to attack defenseless NPCs, and that is how it has always been. Because of that, he asks Virus for help to stop them and change the course of that world. However, Virus maliciously replies that Zen is just a bug that must be eliminated. If GA were destroyed because of him, that entire world would disappear. Virus also says that he will leave Noi alive for a while to watch how his story develops, and that he will eliminate him once he becomes bored. These words make Zen furious. Back with Noi, Vincent begins talking about his private life. This makes Noi upset, and he tells them that they should not interfere with his privacy, even if he is only an NPC. Modus explains that they must investigate because they believe that the virtual world is connected to the real world. If they study him, they might discover the origin of everything that is happening. When Modus gently begs him to help as her friend, Noi finally agrees. Kraken laughs when he sees that she used her charm to convince him. However, Vincent immediately freezes Kraken so he will stop making such comments. Vincent then shows the photo of Noi and his mother and asks who took it. Noi confidently says that his father took the picture, but when Vincent asks for his father's name, Noi suddenly realizes that he cannot remember it. Soon he begins to suffer a strong headache while trying to remember, and eventually faints. In another scene, Virus has Zen cornered against a wall and mocks him for not having enough strength to defend himself. However, Zen warns him not to touch Noi. Zen breaks free from the attack and throws several punches at Virus, but with a single ability, Virus easily defeats him. Back with Noi, he wakes up, and Vincent tells him that it seems his father's existence may have been altered. Modus then asks if the name of a chief engineer named Glitter, who worked on the development of GA, sounds familiar to him. Noi gets another headache when he hears the name. Vincent suggests that this man might be related to Noi, because it is not normal for a player like him to have so many irregularities. He also thinks that there might be other people like Noi in the game. Noi replies that there might be because he once met someone named Zen. In another scene, Shino arrives to check on her injured companion. He warns her that Virus has appeared, and that everyone is in danger. Meanwhile, Modus believes that Noi might be the hope of all NPCs in that world. Kraken thinks that Noi might actually be a bug in the system, which is why Virus is chasing him. Noi then says that they should look for someone known as the Bluebird. Modus later explains to Noi how to change his clothes without ending up naked. She blushes a little when remembering what happened before. Soon after, they tell him that they must leave because the official launch of the game will happen soon. They also warn him to be careful and avoid encountering the game administrators. After some time, Noi returns home and is surprised to see Shino there. It is then revealed that she is the famous Bluebird. She tells him that from now on she will be responsible for his protection. Noi asks her to take him to Zen. However, she explains that Zen has been captured by virus and that Noi might be the next target. She also reminds him that the school's barrier failed when the flaming witch attacked them. Only a game administrator could manually deactivate the barrier, so she believes virus planned everything to test Noi. She then tells him that because Zen sacrificed everything for him, she hopes he will not disappoint them and will help all the NPCs like himself. Later that night, Noi reflects that he always wanted to become a blade, and now that he finally is one, he must protect everyone. Because of that, he needs to become much stronger. The next day, Shino wakes up and notices that breakfast has been prepared for her. She reads a note left by Noi and realizes that he was the one who made the meal. She thinks that she was supposed to protect him, not the other way around. Sometime later, Noi runs toward the school, worried that he will be scolded for arriving late. On the way, he meets Cass, who leans against his chest while looking very sad. Noi explains that after seeing the monster yesterday, she fainted, so he took her to the hospital. With tears in her eyes, she tells him that she was very afraid that he might die. Suddenly, they hear a voice saying that it cannot believe he made a girl cry. Standing in front of them is Virus. Noi immediately asks where Zen is. Virus calmly replies that he has him captured in his house. He then demands that Noi reveal how he gained player access in the game. Without hesitation, Virus suddenly attacks both of them. The main character decides to protect Cass and takes the hit, causing him to fall unconscious. Seeing this, Cass becomes furious with Virus, and we see a dark aura begin to surround her. Virus finds this very interesting. He even repairs the ground that Cass had destroyed and calmly says that he only came to greet them. After that, he disappears and Noi slowly begins to wake up. Later, the two return to their classroom. When they enter, they are warmly welcomed because their classmates begin thanking them for saving everyone the day before. Noi even becomes very popular among the girls, and several of them mention that they wrote letters for him. Noi then remembers that he wrote an apology letter to the teacher and left it on his desk. When classes begin, he checks the desk but notices that the letter is gone. He asks Aki if he took it, but Aki is still upset because Noi abandoned him earlier to go with Modis, so he does not care about what Noi says. Soon after, both of them get hit on the head with a piece of chalk. Rio becomes furious and scolds them, saying that talking during her class is not allowed. Later, it is revealed that the one who stole the letters was Cass. Acting like a very jealous girl, she believes that Noi belongs only to her and refuses to let any other girl give him letters. After classes end, Noi follows Aki and apologizes for everything. Aki angrily says that he abandoned him just to chase after someone as beautiful as Motus. However, Noi explains that things are not what he thinks and begins telling him the whole story. After hearing everything, Aki becomes extremely excited and quickly forgives him. He then asks Noi to come with him to show him something and warns him to keep it secret or they could be in danger. Meanwhile, Cass is secretly watching them like an obsessed stalker. Soon after, the two leave the building where Vincent is. Noi thinks the conference is not finished yet, so they step outside. Suddenly, a dog jumps toward Noi. The owner apologizes and tells them that they are both very handsome students. She then invites them to visit the cafe she just opened, mentioning that everything is currently 50% off. Aki quickly accepts the offer. Noi notices that the cafe is right across from Vincent's building, so they could easily wait for him there. While they are inside the cafe, Noi decides to tell Aki the entire truth about himself and everything that has been happening. He worries that Aki might think he is crazy. However, since Aki is a true video game addict, he takes the news surprisingly well. He even finds it amusing that he is a gaming addict inside a game. Aki tells him that he will remain the same person and that he actually likes living in that world as part of the game. Aki's optimistic reaction makes Noi very happy because he expected a much worse response. Instead, his friend encourages him to continue with his plans. Meanwhile, Cass keeps following Noi everywhere. Inside the cafe, Aki tells Noi that the girl working there has been staring at him for a while. When Noi checks, he blushes after realizing that it is true. He remembers that Modus warned him not to attract attention, so he begins wondering if the girl might also be a player. Noi becomes nervous when the girl suddenly winks at him flirtatiously. Aki jokes that lately Noi has become quite the ladies' man. However, Aki also says something wise for someone who is supposedly just an NPC. He warns Noi not to become too attached to people from the real world, because one day they might get bored with the game and simply move on to another one. Noi realizes that Aki might be right, and that Motis could someday leave him and move to another game. In another scene, Motis is waiting for the materials for the conference. She cannot stop thinking about Noi and hopes that everything will finish quickly so she can return to him. Meanwhile, the other boy from the shop arrives at the cafe, and both of them comment that the coffee there tastes very good. Suddenly, the man offers both of them a job and tells them they could get free snacks and coffee. As for the salary, he explains that it will be a bit low at first, because the cafe has just opened. He also mentions that the blonde girl named Xiaolan would be happy to have them working there. In the end, the two boys accept the offer. Soon after, Cass arrives and hugs Xiaolan, saying how cute and lovely she is. The owner scolds Cass because he does not want her scaring away his customers. Just then, they are interrupted when the dog begins barking loudly. They look outside and notice that a Tian Sha is about to appear. Noi also realizes that the cafe owner is actually a real player. Xiaolan becomes angry when she sees that the monster will appear right in front of her shop. Soon after, the monster forms with a lightning strike, and the man says that it looks like an abyss demon. Xiaolan calmly says that it is only a level 13 monster. Noi is shocked to hear that and wonders how strong they must be to speak so casually about it. The two quickly activate their transformations, and Noi realizes that they are saviors. Because of their high level, he cannot even see their stats. They immediately jump into battle, dodging several attacks. They become angry when they notice that the monster damaged their cafe. The man throws a hypersonic bomb that stuns the monster, and Xiaolan starts attacking it with her gun. Even the dog turns out to be a hero, summoning blades from its suit and striking the monster. Cass tells them that they should leave because the situation is dangerous. Noi asks Aki to take her away because he plans to help them. Once they leave, Noi activates his blade transformation. The man, whom we will call Bai, notices that Noi is also a player. They begin fighting together using a combined attack, and the monster escapes underground. The group decides to follow it, and soon they discover hundreds of monster eggs. Bai says that if the monster had not appeared, they might never have discovered them, and in a few days those creatures could have destroyed the entire city. However, the eggs suddenly begin hatching. Bai and Noi become nervous as they see hundreds of monsters emerging. They throw a grenade and quickly escape back to the surface. Xiaolan complains that something smells terrible, probably because of Bai's explosion. Soon after, the monsters break through the ground behind them and start heading toward Cass and Aki. Noi quickly defeats several monsters but realizes that there are far too many of them. To make things worse, another group of monsters reaches Vincent's building, where the secretary is now in danger. Noi becomes unsure about what to do because he is still protecting the others. Bai tells him that they can hide on the second floor so Noi can go and save the girl. Noi throws a hypersonic bomb to distract the monsters. Meanwhile, the others hide inside and block the door with furniture. Noi manages to rescue the secretary just as a monster is about to attack her. He lifts her onto his shoulders and escapes while defeating many creatures along the way. However, the situation becomes worse when a giant monster emerges from the ground and begins attacking. Meanwhile, the monsters reach the place where Cass and Aki are hiding. They briefly consider jumping out of the window, but Xiaolan suddenly arrives and saves them. She tells them they were lucky because she had been searching for the monster and thought it would be better to come upstairs. The dog also shows impressive combat skills, using its weapons to defeat dozens of monsters. Noi realizes that he must do something about the giant monster, or everyone will die. He also notices that the demon seems to control its creatures through sound waves. In other words, it appears to be blind but can attack anything it hears. Because of that, they need to stay quiet. However, the girl Noi rescued suddenly begins screaming in panic. The monster immediately detects them. Cass, who is watching everything, remembers that Noi has always saved her since they were children. In that moment, she decides that she must save him this time. Xiaolin pulls out a hypersonic grenade, but she drops it when the monster attacks her. At that moment, Cass grabs the grenade. Xiaolan is knocked out of the window by several monsters, and Cass takes the opportunity to throw the grenade toward the monster. After the grenade's effect ends, the demon fires a powerful beam toward the place where the others are standing. Noi becomes extremely sad because he believes his friends have died. He even thinks about how incredible it is that NPCs can have real emotions and are willing to help their fellow players. Just then, reinforcement armor arrives, which Bai had previously requested. Meanwhile, Noi begins to feel miserable for not being able to save his best friends. His anger grows, and a red aura begins surrounding him. Bai climbs into his armor and attacks the monster, but his attacks do not have much effect. Just as the demon prepares to fire a powerful beam at Bai, Noi suddenly appears and creates a powerful flame that burns the demons and the area where the eggs were located. At that moment, Noi realizes that he used the Flaming Witch's ability. While feeling slightly depressed, he suddenly hears the voices of his friends. It turns out that Xiao had saved them before the monster's attack hit them. After the monster is defeated, Bai observes Noi and begins to think that he is not just a simple bug as others believed. All this time he had pretended to see Noi as a normal player, but in reality he already knew that he was not simply a bug in the game. Soon after, Cass runs toward Noi while crying and hugs him tightly because she was very worried about him. In his mind, Noi thanks Shino for saving them, since complete chaos would have happened if his friends had died. Meanwhile, the secretary talks with Aki and worries about everything that happened. She does not know what explanation she will give to Vincent, but Aki tells her not to worry because Vincent will understand what happened. In another scene, the press conference in the real world has begun. Several reporters ask questions about the game and its beta version. Among them, there is a girl with glasses who is actually Monsuto in real life. She says that she heard rumors that the official game had been delayed for 10 years because of problems in the system, which makes the man on stage look nervous. Back with Noi, he asks Bai why he decided to open a cafe as a side job. Bai replies that the cafe is actually his main job. He suddenly becomes very passionate about coffee and starts explaining every detail he loves about it. He says that ever since he discovered coffee, he always dreamed of opening his own cafe. Xiaolan interrupts him and tells him to stop bragging because he keeps saying that it was always his dream. Ironically, Bai is actually allergic to coffee in real life and could literally die if he drinks it. Even with that problem, he remains optimistic. He explains that although opening a cafe in the real world would be impossible for him, he was able to open one inside the game and enjoy coffee freely without dying. Bai then extends his hand and tells Noi that even though they belong to different factions, they can still be friends. Noi apologizes regarding the job offer and says that he would rather remain a carefree student without a job. Bai accepts his answer and tells him that he is welcome to visit any time. Soon after, the boys run off. Noi thinks that since he is not a real player, interacting too much with people from the outside world could be dangerous. After they leave, Bai notices that someone else is still nearby. Aku suddenly appears, and Xiaolan immediately hugs her, saying how much she missed her. They begin talking about Noi, and Aku reveals that the captain sent her to observe him. So far, she believes he is very special and has not noticed anything suspicious about him. However, Aku also says that she noticed Noi's power suddenly increases many times, which seems strange. She also admits that she has become interested in him. Bai tells her not to think too much about it, but she replies that she is interested because he saved her before. Xiaolan interrupts them and asks Bai what he plans to do about his cafe, since it was destroyed on the very first day it opened. This makes Bai completely depressed. In another scene, we return to the press conference. The owner of the video game tells Monsuto that her question was clearly malicious. He says that their team carefully worked on every detail of the game, so it is impossible for there to be so many bugs as she suggested. He explains that they spent 10 years developing the project and even increased the budget to improve it further. He then warns her that if she continues spreading false accusations, they will take legal action. Monsuto responds with another provocative question, this time about Motus. She says that information has leaked claiming that Motus has been secretly playing the beta version of the game. This makes Kraken angry, but Vincent quickly calms him down. Unexpectedly, Motus's grandfather surprises everyone by announcing that he has a special statement to make. He reveals that Motus will officially become the ambassador of the video game. He explains that despite her health condition, she is the heir of the company and personally tested the game. He also says that through the game she was able to do things that she cannot do in real life. Because of that, the game can perform miracles for people who dream big. He then explains that this is the reason why the company has focused so much on making the game as realistic as possible, calling it something truly revolutionary. For the final question, Monsuto asks if it is true that Motus is in a wheelchair because of an accident during the early stage of the game's development. The man immediately responds that throughout the entire development process they ensured the safety of the testers and that no accident ever occurred. He then warns her to stop making those accusations or he will take legal action. The other reporters begin applauding, and Monsuto eventually leaves the place. Back with Noi, we see that Shino is slightly injured. Noi gives her some regenerators, but she feels embarrassed and says that those items are only meant for players. Noi also thanks her for saving his friends, because if she had not helped them, they might have died. Noi says that he understands he must become much stronger. He also realizes that the members of the Ravens are normal NPCs like him, but he knows that Shino has great talent thanks to her training. Shino explains that even though his abilities have been unlocked, he still lacks combat experience. Because of that, she decides to train him. They shake hands, but suddenly Shino grabs him and throws him to the ground, saying that the training has already begun. Noi complains and says she should at least warn him before doing something like that. Shino replies that enemies will never warn him, and she continues beating him during the training. In another scene, Modus's grandfather becomes furious with Kraken and Vincent after learning that they helped Modus play the game. He had forbidden her from trying the game, and she had been doing it secretly. Because of this, he angrily says that both of them are fired. However, Modus tells him that she was the one who asked them to play and accompany her. She also admits that she knows she will never walk again and that she does not have any friends. Hearing these words makes the old man calm down and he begins to reflect. He then tells her that he only wants her to be happy. He asks her to take good care of herself and orders the two men to continue protecting her. He also asks them to investigate the reporter who is asking malicious questions. Meanwhile, Noi returns home with a black eye from his training with Shino. Since he feels hungry, Shino goes to cook something. Soon, someone knocks on the door, and when they open it, they see that it is Cass. Cass notices a pair of women's shoes inside the house and becomes furious. After they start talking, she becomes very jealous even though they explain that Shino is only there to protect Noi. Cass even declares that from now on she will be the one protecting him, which leads to an argument between the two girls. At that moment, Noi's stomach growls. Cass says that she brought dinner, but Shino is already cooking, which causes them to argue again. Noi decides to take a bath and wonders what the girls are doing. Meanwhile, Shino is searching for ingredients to cook. Since she does not know where things are, Cass ends up helping her. Shino does not look very happy about it, so she shows off her raven skills by throwing 2 carrots into the air and slicing them into shapes that resemble her and Noi. Cass becomes furious because she refuses to lose in cooking. Unfortunately, she is very bad at it and ends up burning the fish. She starts asking for help, and Noi quickly comes out to see what happened. However, since he is only wearing a towel, Shino immediately punches him. Both girls blush when they see him half naked. To make things even worse, Kraken and Motis arrive at that moment. Noi stands up to greet them without realizing that his towel has fallen off, leaving him completely exposed. This makes Kraken start shooting at him while calling him a pervert. Noi runs away to cover himself, but Cass ends up seeing everything and cannot stop staring. Shino, extremely angry, beats him up again. Later, Kraken suggests that since they have several free days, they should go on a trip. He recommends going to the beach because it would be the perfect place to relax and have fun. He even mentions that he has not taken a single day off from his job as Modus's bodyguard for the past 5 years. Hearing this makes Modus very happy. In another scene, in the real world, Vincent is monitoring Modus's vital signs while she plays the game. It is then revealed that Monsuto has infiltrated the place by disguising herself as a nurse. Vincent asks her to keep an eye on Modus because he needs to step out for a moment. As soon as he leaves, the girl shows a sinister smile, clearly planning something, although her intentions are not revealed yet. In another scene, several people are gathered around a girl who is lying in a coma. The blue-haired man believes that one day he will be able to wake her up. Meanwhile, back with Noi's group, they finally arrive at the beach. Modus mentions that it is her first time visiting a place like that. Because the car was very small, Noi ended up riding in the trunk during the trip. After a while, Bai and Xiaolan also arrive at the beach. Bai immediately starts looking at pretty girls, which makes Xiaolan scold him and tell him to focus on their investigation instead. At that moment, Aku appears and asks if they came to enjoy a weekend inside the game. Bai points toward Noi and the others in the distance, and explains that they are actually on a special mission to watch them and make sure nothing unusual happens. Later, The group gets ready for the beach. Cass arrives wearing her swimsuit and asks Noi to compliment her. She tries to pull him toward the water, but Shino stops her because she needs to keep Noi within her field of vision so she can protect him. Soon after, Modus appears in her swimsuit, and both boys are stunned by how beautiful she looks. This makes the other girls jealous. After some time, while the group is playing volleyball, Noi approaches Modis to talk. He tells her that they made this trip so she could have fun and enjoy herself. However, Modus sadly admits that she is afraid of playing too much inside the game. Because she can do things there that she cannot do in real life due to her disability, she worries that it might create a dependence that would make her unhappy in the real world. Noi reassures her that he is her friend and that she can always rely on him whenever she needs help. After listening to his encouraging words, Modus finally agrees and joins the others to play. Even Kraken is surprised to see her participating, but everyone happily welcomes her. For the first time, Noi notices how genuinely happy she looks. Over the next few hours, the group continues playing and swimming in the ocean. At one point, they even bury Aki in the sand, which makes everyone laugh, even though Aki is not very pleased. After a long time, Modus talks with Noi again, and he says how happy he is that she enjoyed the trip. Suddenly, Noi notices a girl nearby who seems very familiar to him. However, when he tries to point her out, she disappears from the pier. Later, while riding a jet ski, Noi becomes distracted by the thought of that girl and says he cannot understand why she feels so familiar. He suddenly recalls a vague memory of seeing the silhouette of a girl and realizes that it must be the same person. Just then, he sees her passing beneath the water and quickly dives in to search for her. But after finding nothing, he returns to Modus. He apologizes and says that he must be imagining things because he has been under a lot of stress lately. Modis kindly tells him that she believes him and that someone with his potential would never lie. She advises him to stay cautious and careful. Meanwhile, Cass feels sad because she has not seen Noi for a while. Shino tells her that she should not feel that way because Noi's heart does not belong to her. Cass understands but replies that Noi is still the most important person in her life. At that moment, Shino receives a phone call. When she answers, she realizes something strange is happening because it was her best friend calling, yet she did not respond when Shino spoke. In another scene, several people are lying unconscious in an alley. Virus has infiltrated one of the Raven's bases and located them. Knowing that Shino is at the beach with Noi, he says that he will make their lives miserable. Soon after, a storm begins to form and the Tien Sha alarm starts sounding. While Noi and Modus are still in the water, they notice a monster approaching a boat filled with people. They rush toward it immediately. The monster attacks, and the two jump onto the boat. Noi quickly draws his weapon while the others watch from the shore. When Kraken sees the creature, he identifies it as the terrifying Kraken, a monster known from Norse mythology. They notice that one jet ski is still available, so Kraken heads toward them. The monster attacks again, but they manage to dodge it. However, the Kraken has now targeted them. Meanwhile, Aki notices that Xiaolan and Bai are also nearby. Kraken prepares to move toward the fight, and Cass asks him to take her along. Back with Noi, he tries using a binding skill on the monster, but the Kraken easily breaks free and strikes him. The creature then fires several missiles, but the group manages to deflect them. Kraken finally arrives on the jet ski and crashes into the monster, landing on the boat with the others. Noi realizes that the impact caused some damage to the monster, but it is still far from defeated. At that moment, Aku activates her transformation and uses Bai's shoulder as support so she can aim her sniper rifle at the monster. However, Bai becomes very nervous and tells Aku not to shoot because the target is too far away. Meanwhile, Kraken and Noi jump toward the monster and try to strike it, but they quickly realize that physical attacks do not work against it. At that moment, Noi activates his power and begins emitting a powerful aura. He then unleashes a barrage of attacks that finally causes the monster to fall. Kraken becomes extremely nervous when he sees how powerful Noi has become. The group lowers their guard, thinking that they have defeated the Kraken. But suddenly, several missiles rise from the water and head toward them. Noi quickly uses his magical bindings and manages to destroy most of the missiles. However, one missile gets through, and Aku barely manages to destroy it with a precise shot from the shore, showing that she is an expert sniper. Another missile suddenly appears, and Modus throws her sword to stop it. However, the explosion throws everyone into the water. Noi notices that the monster has captured Modus. He manages to free her, but in return the monster captures him instead. Cass immediately dives into the water to help him, but Noi slowly begins to lose consciousness. Suddenly, Noi's mind enters a strange dimension. There he meets a girl named Gay, who introduces herself as the supercomputer that controls that entire world. Gay tells him that she has tried many times to communicate with him and that she is finally able to speak to him directly. She suddenly shows him a photo of his mother and asks what she has to do with everything that is happening. GA then reveals that the woman in the photo is actually his mother in real life. As she begins to slowly disappear, she tells him that she needs his help and that he must rescue her. Meanwhile, Cass is underwater trying to figure out how to save Noi. Suddenly, she transforms into a blade and defeats the monster with a single attack. However, the effort drains all her strength and she collapses. Noi regains consciousness just in time to see her and rushes to rescue her. In the end, both of them manage to survive and reach the surface. In another scene in the real world, Noi's mother is shown lying on a bed inside a laboratory, being cared for by a man who appears to be her husband. Unexpectedly, Monsuto arrives at the location and calls the man father. He tells her that her mother still has not woken up. At this point in the story, everything becomes confusing, because throughout the entire story we were led to believe that Noi was actually an NPC. But with this revelation, everything changes drastically, suggesting that Noi actually has a real family in the real world. However, this is something that will be revealed later. Back in the game, Noi informs Vincent that he spoke directly with Guille. This surprises Vincent, who did not expect something like that to happen. Meanwhile, after infiltrating Modus's room earlier, Monsuto secretly places a chip into Modus's virtual reality headset. With a sinister smile, she says that if Modus loves that world so much, she will remain there forever. At the same time, Modus suddenly collapses inside the game. After some time passes, Modus's grandfather arrives and asks what happened to his granddaughter. The doctor explains that the problem is related to the VR headset and the login device connected to it. Inside the game, the group realizes that Modus cannot log out. Vincent immediately says that he will investigate. Modus's grandfather becomes extremely distressed because he does not want to lose her like he lost her parents. At that moment, Vincent arrives and informs them that Modus is still unconscious inside the game as well. They are suddenly interrupted when the doctor calls them to the room. He explains that the game's system appears to have been altered by a login chip inserted into the headset. The grandfather orders him to remove it immediately. However, the doctor warns that the chip contains a defense mechanism. If they try to remove it, it could self-destruct. Even if they manage to remove it safely, it could still cause severe brain damage to Modus. At that moment, the old man realizes that there might be someone who can help solve this situation. Meanwhile, back in the game, Noi and the others are extremely worried about Motis. Kraken says that he will step outside to get some fresh air. Meanwhile, Noi stays beside Modus, begging her to wake up soon. He even promises that if she wakes up, they will visit the beach together again someday. In another scene, Shino arrives at the alley where the broken phone and several unconscious people were left on the ground. There, she finds Virus holding Zen against a wall. Zen tells him to kill him now that he has captured him, but Virus refuses. Instead, he says that the system granted Zen an incredible amount of power, and he plans to take advantage of it. Cables connected to Zen suddenly attach themselves to Virus's neck, and he begins transferring Zen's power into himself. Zen becomes desperate and unleashes a dragon-shaped attack, but it has no effect because Virus is far too powerful. Virus then creates a wolf made of dark magic that attacks Zen. Soon after, Virus leaves the city while explosions begin appearing in different areas. He says that he will make very good use of Zen's power. Since Noi has become the hope of the NPCs, Virus decides that it is finally time to go after him. In another scene, news about the security breach involving Modus spreads through the press. Reporters begin covering the story, which makes Modus's grandfather extremely unhappy. The grandfather arrives at a building where a man with blue hair named Greta is waiting. Greta is already aware of the news and is trying to find a solution to save Modus, without realizing that the true cause of the problem is his own adopted daughter. The grandfather tells Greta that everything that has happened is making him consider shutting down the GA project. However, Greta replies that even though GA is slowly losing power, the project cannot be cancelled. If it were stopped, his wife might never wake up. At that moment, Monsuto appears and says that if they truly want to save Modus, they must shut down GA. Greta explains that Monsuto is his adopted daughter. Because she worked as his assistant, she learned how to create special chips. The grandfather finally realizes that she was the one responsible for sabotaging his granddaughter's device. Monsuto openly admits that she manipulated Motis's login system. She then says that the only way to save Motis is to disconnect GA. The old man is about to slap her, but Greta does it first. He angrily tells her that he cannot believe she ruined years of research because of her selfishness. With tears in her eyes, Monsuto says that she deeply hates GA because Greta has suffered for 10 years while his wife remained in a coma. She says that after all this time, she still has not been able to get her family back. Back in the game world, Noi remains beside Motis when GA suddenly appears again. She tells him that he must save his mother as soon as possible. She takes Noi's hand and places it on Motis's head. Immediately, Noi is transported into another dimension where Motis is trapped. Meanwhile, Vincent discovers classified files from 10 years ago that describe the accident that happened during the early development of GA. The documents explain the death of Motis's parents, but they also mention Noi's mother. Vincent even finds a photo of Noi. As he continues reading, Vincent discovers something shocking. According to the documents, Noi died during the GA research accident 10 years ago. That is when he realizes that Noi is actually Greta's son. Back inside the memory world, Noi and Motis find themselves in a children's park. They suddenly see younger versions of themselves playing there. Noi realizes that they knew each other when they were children. He also understands that he is currently inside the deepest part of Motis's mind. GA explains that Motis does not remember what happened that day because the trauma made her want to forget everything. Before disappearing again, Georgia tells Noi that he must find a way to rescue his mother from that world. As the memory continues, both families are shown getting along very well. Their parents were brilliant engineers in quantum engineering and robotics. They talk about building a supercomputer and other advanced projects. GA is quietly watching them, while Motis's father mentions that they should fix some bugs in the system. For some unknown reason, Georgia becomes angry when she hears those words in the memory. Later, while the families are searching for a clover in the park, Noi's mother notices something moving in the bushes. When she approaches, she finds GA crying. However, the moment GA sees her, she runs away. Soon after, one of the fathers finds the clover, but GA suddenly begins screaming. As she does, the entire place starts to distort. Greta tells his son and the others to log out of the game so they can see what is happening, because at that time both families were testing the video game. Greta quickly realizes that the system is critically failing. Inside the game, Georgia cannot stop crying, so Noi's mother goes to the girl to comfort her. However, Noi was just a child and was very scared. He tries to approach his mother, but GA suddenly believes that she is her own mother and ends up capturing her inside the system. At that very moment, the laboratory where everyone was connected inside capsules begins to collapse. No and his mother are unable to escape from their capsules. As No and Motis watch these events in the memory, they finally understand what truly happened to them. Soon after, they wake up from Motis's memory. Cass begins crying with relief when she sees that Noi is safe. The others explain to him that he fainted beside Motis. Suddenly, Shino interrupts them and says that she senses someone nearby. When they step outside, they see Virus waiting for them. He declares that Noi is the greatest bug in the entire game. In another scene, Greta explains to Monsuto that he wishes he could shut down GA. However, he reveals that the consciousness of Noi and his mother still remains inside the virtual world. He explains that in order to calm GA and rescue their consciousness, he had to modify the AI system. Monsuto cannot understand why the computer should continue operating after it already caused deaths. But the old man explains that the project began with his son, and creating virtual reality was nothing short of a miracle. The girl begins to cry and says that she cannot stand seeing her father suffer anymore, knowing that he could lose his wife or son at any moment. That is why she wants to destroy the computer. Meanwhile, Noi activates his blade transformation and stands in front of Virus to fight him. Sometime later, something unexpected happens. Motis wakes up in the real world. The old man receives a call telling him that she miraculously regained consciousness. Monsuto immediately suspects that something strange has happened. After hearing the news, Vincent contacts Kraken and tells him that Motis is safe. However, Kraken nervously says that they must act quickly because Virus is already with them. Back at the battlefield, Virus tells Noi that he has finally found someone entertaining. He also confesses to Shino that he killed all her companions simply for fun. He claims that his job is only to correct bugs and that killing people is unnecessary, but he did it anyway because he was bored. Shino becomes furious and attacks him with her snake-shaped whip. Virus responds by creating a dark magic serpent that throws her into some bushes. Virus then mocks the situation, saying that these pathetic NPCs see Noi as their only hope. He launches several attacks at Noi, but Noi counters with a powerful fireball. Virus becomes excited and says that he will now take the fight seriously. He suddenly binds Noi with dark ropes that begin causing him intense pain. The girls rush forward to help him, but Noi begs them not to come closer. Modus stops Cass and tells her not to go because she will only die. Just then, Kraken arrives, and he and Modus activate their blade transformations. But when they try to attack, Virus traps them inside a strange magical cube. He says that he does not kill players, so they will simply watch as he eliminates Noi. Virus increases the power of his attack, causing Noi extreme pain. He declares that today he will destroy the greatest bug in the entire game. Unable to watch Noi suffer any longer, Cass steps in front of the attack. At that moment, she transforms into a Tiana and begins protecting him. This makes Virus even angrier, and he says he will kill them both. Suddenly, Cass's soul begins repairing Noi's body. Virus is shocked when he realizes that she was actually a guardian programmed to protect Noi. After fully healing him, Cass says goodbye and disappears. Virus mocks the situation and says that this only delayed Noi's death. Noi then charges at Virus and declares that even if he is an administrator, this world does not belong to him. Filled with rage, Noi gathers a powerful fire attack and strikes Virus with it. The others who were trapped inside the cube finally break free, and the entire area begins to become unstable. After the explosion, a strange sphere appears in the sky, and Noi is transported into it. Inside the sphere, he finds GA, who asks him to free his mother from an isolated space that she shows him. Meanwhile, Greta tells Monsuto that the data in the capsule containing Noi's mother is collapsing. Even so, he still believes there is hope to save her. Greta explains that he does not suffer from seeing his wife in that condition. On the contrary, it gives him the motivation to keep going and search for a way out of the darkness they are facing. The girl begins to cry, and Greta apologizes for not being a better father to her. Back in the virtual space, Georgia shows Noi the place where his mother is hugging her. GA explains that the woman's embrace calmed her, but because of that, she could not release her afterward. GA warns him that there is very little time left and that he must save her. If the connection breaks, her mind could separate from her physical body, and once that happens, there will be nothing anyone can do to save her. Noi thanks GA for telling him this, and GA apologizes for taking his mother. Noi responds that he will save her so that she can continue living. Soon after, Noi suddenly appears on Aki's game console screen. Aki changes the game mode, and Noi emerges from the device. However, Virus also comes out and immediately destroys the console. Noi becomes extremely nervous because he cannot understand how Virus is still alive. It is also revealed that Virus has a strange gem embedded in his chest. Virus immediately begins attacking him. Kraken suddenly appears and strikes him with his axe, but the others think Virus has gone insane because he keeps repeating that he will eliminate them all. In another scene, the rescue team discusses the situation. They mention that Noi is Greta's son, and Greta is a very important engineer. Soon after, they receive a danger alert from the location where Noi is. Back at the battle, Virus lands a powerful blow on Kraken. Suddenly, the enemy duplicates himself. While Noi blocks one of the attacks, he realizes that the space where his mother is located is slowly closing. Modus contacts her grandfather, and he immediately orders her to log out because the game has become unstable. The laboratory is starting to show the same signs as the accident that happened 10 years ago. Despite this, Modus refuses to leave because she does not want to abandon Noi a second time. Meanwhile, Vincent asks the old man to allow him to see Greta. Back in the fight, Noi manages to cut the clones in half, but they keep multiplying. In another scene, Vincent reaches Greta and tells him that his son has found the consciousness of his wife. He asks Greta to help stabilize the game, so they can gain more time. Meanwhile, Noi and the others continue destroying the clones, but more and more keep appearing. Motis tells Noi that he should go ahead while they distract them. However, one of Virus's clones suddenly appears beside him and traps him inside one of the magical cubes. Just when they were cornered, Vincent appeared and managed to freeze all the clones. He also informed them that Greta was trying to restore the game system. However, the clones soon broke free from the ice, and many reinforcements suddenly appeared. Meanwhile, Greta was desperately trying to repair the game's software, but the engineers reported that there were too many errors in the system. While everyone continued fighting the clones, Motis worriedly watched Noi battling Virus inside the cube. Seeing that Noi could not escape, Motis jumped toward the sphere where Noi's mother was trapped. At the same time, Monsuto arrived where Greta was working and told him that she would help them, since she was the one responsible for inserting the bug into the game. Back in the battle, Noi finally managed to stab Virus with his weapon. At the same moment, Motis drove her sword into the sphere. A beam of energy burst out from Virus's chest and struck the sphere, sending Motis flying away. However, the impact worked because the sphere shattered and the consciousness of Noi's mother was finally released. Noi quickly caught Motis as she fell, and all the clones began to disappear. Soon after, the game's map also started to stabilize, since the bug had been fixed. The group then went to check on Cass. It turned out that she had also been repaired and had survived, making everyone extremely happy because everything had worked out as they hoped. Several days later, Motis's grandfather's company held a press conference. During the event, Motis's announced that the game would launch on its scheduled release date. GA was also repaired, and in collaboration with the game, she became a kind of ambassador for it. Finally, Noi's mother woke up. She was seen looking at photos that had been taken inside the game and printed in the real world. Since then, everything that was destroyed during the final battle had been restored. The people inside the game world were very happy, including Noi and Motis.